What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another AMC update for you guys. So in this video, we're going to go over the current utilization in short interest numbers, as well as a possible buyout or takeover coming in AMC's future. So we're going to go over all of the evidence that we have for this and how it could affect the share price in the near future. In my opinion, that is amazing news and could do a lot of great things for the stock in the long term and for the squeeze in the short term. Now, we're also going to briefly cover the 500 million share potential offering and the authorizing of those 500 million shares being taken off the table. Now, I also want to go into some of the other additional things that I was able to find about the new NSCC 005 ruling and some more evidence as to why this is going to be such a big deal. So if you haven't seen my previous video about this potential rule change, make sure you go check out my previous AMC video. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys would like to earn 2 free stocks with Webull, valued up to $1,850, make sure you check out that link down below in my description. All you have to do is sign up for an account, deposit over $100, and you get access to those 2 free stocks. And if you guys enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you in these videos, make sure you go down and hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So when we're looking at the chart of AMC, we are seeing a little bit of a sell-off today, and I think some of the reasons that we are seeing a sell-off is that once we saw the shareholder vote canceled, there was a lot of articles that came out that said, well, AMC is no longer going to vote on raising the share capital up by 500 million shares, but they are going to be actually offering the 48 million shares. Now, I think that was misrepresented in the media, and they're not actually going to be issuing these shares right away. They've had these shares since 2013, and I don't see any reason to freak out about them having 48 million shares to offer. So let's get into the short interest and utilization numbers. When we come over here, the utilization is still at 100%. And again, utilization is the amount of shares that institutions are willing to lend versus the amount of shares that have already been lent out. So this is at the max value right here, which essentially means that there's no more shares left to be lent out, but that does not mean that naked shorting is not occurring. And when we come over to the left over here, we can see the estimated short interest as a percent of the free float is now at 24.06%, and the previous was 23.25%. We've been seeing this number steadily increase over the past 2 weeks, and although I typically don't trust any type of data source, even though Ortex is supposedly the most accurate and up-to-date data source, we still have a lot of naked shorting going on in AMC. So basically all I look for in these numbers right here are the trends. So is the short interest trending upwards or is it trending downwards? Same thing with the utilization. Now, before we get into this possible takeover, buyout, acquisition, or merger that AMC could potentially be engaging in the near future, I want you guys to understand, and I want to make this abundantly clear, that this is very speculative at the current time. Me personally, I have not been able to exactly confirm that this notification was actually sent out because I do not have an account at the brokerage where this notification was sent out at. But I think a lot of other people have said that this notification has been sent out to them and they have seen it. So I think it is very important to go over because this has a lot of positive implications for AMC and their share price going forward. So I definitely want to cover this and explain to you guys what the effects are going to be. So when we come over to this Reddit post right here, we can see that E-Trade sent messages out that AMC is, quote, in play. What does this mean? So when we come over to this actual screenshot, AMC is in play Tuesday, April 27th, 2021, 17:22:35 Eastern Time. So what exactly does AMC being in play actually mean? So when we come over to Investopedia, we can see that what does in play mean? The term in play refers to a firm that becomes a potential takeover target or puts itself up for sale with multiple bidders. When a firm becomes in play, news spreads about the potential deal. Speculation leads the share price to increase in value, making it much more volatile. Once a bid for the firm is is made or a sale is possible, a company may attract additional bidders. Now, this would really send AMC's stock price going much higher. Now, in the past, I have said many times that I think, in my opinion, the true AMC short squeeze is going to be set off by a big gamma squeeze. So I've been trying to explain to the best of my ability what a gamma squeeze is for you guys over the past couple of weeks. But now we have another way for this squeeze to actually take off. When we think about it, if one bidder comes in and they want to merge with AMC and they're going to pay, let's say, $15 a share to acquire a certain percent of the company, another company can, or $15 a share, I'm sorry, did I say 15 cents? $15 a share, but another company could come in and say, well, we can afford 17, and then we can afford 18, maybe we can afford $20 a share, and the price could potentially keep going up. So this could be very good news for AMC, because if the price starts to spike because of this, we could see the squeeze actually get set off. And we're also going to go over another way that the squeeze can get set off a little bit later in this video as well. So understanding in play, mergers and acquisitions are an integral part of the corporate landscape. A larger company often takes over or makes deals with a smaller firm when the latter can add value to an acquirer. Corporations of similar sizes may decide to merge or cut down costs, or because they want to limit competition. I think this last sentence right here is the most likely outcome for AMC. So a lot of people have come out and said that the movie theater industry is not what it once was, and the fact that the pandemic is occurring is not helping them out. Now, if we saw AMC merge with another movie company, I think that would be very good news. They're going to be able to cut down in costs, cut down on the competition, and I do think that AMC and a couple of these other movie theater chains are going to try and position themselves in the streaming market in the future. We saw AMC enter a strategic cooperation agreement with Cinedigm, where they were going to be purchasing some of their equipment. Now, the equipment that they were going to be purchasing was for streaming. So Cinedigm has a streaming service, and they were actually going to be purchasing streaming equipment, which I thought was very interesting. So mergers and acquisitions can be hostile. In this case, the target firm is not willing to be purchased, which forces the potential acquirer to adopt aggressive tactics and strategies to meet its goals. In other cases, these deals may be friendly, where one party puts in an offer to purchase another corporation, or one party may put itself up for sale and actively seeks a buyer or bidder. Now, I also want to cover some of the very big news that we received yesterday as well. So when we come over to this 8K filing, on April 27th, 2021, AMC Entertainment Holdings entered into an equity distribution agreement with Goldman Sachs, B. Riley Securities, and Citigroup Global Markets as sales agents to sell up to 43 million shares of Class A common stock, par value 1 cent per share, of the company from time to time through an at-the-market offering program. So we saw this kind of get a little bit blown out of proportion, in my opinion, because when we take a look at some of these articles that we see right here, AMC to sell up to 43 million fresh shares, but calls off plans to seek approval for 500 million more. Now, AMC is not going to come out and just offer all 43 million of these shares at once. This is a more modified shelf offering, so they essentially file that they are going to have this amount of shares that they want to offer over a period of time, and they are able to take shares off that shelf from time to time and offer them on the open market if they feel that they could actually use more capital. Now, when we come down a little bit further, this is going to be the big bombshell that we got yesterday. So on April 27, 2021, the company announced that the board of directors of the company has determined not to seek shareholder approval for the proposal to approve an amendment to the company's third amended and restated certificate of incorporation to increase the total number of Class A common stock that the company shall have the authority to issue by 500 million shares to total 1.02 billion shares. Now, there are pros and cons to this. In my opinion, I thought this vote and this authorization was actually going to lead us to actually expose the amount of naked shares out in the market. But I know a lot of you were very against this vote because you did think that the yeses were going to win and they were going to have these 500 million shares. So this is actually very bullish for the squeeze coming up. I also want to expand a little bit on the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in my last video. So let's do a brief recap on what we were going over. So there's this new NSCC 005 requested rule change, and the NSCC wants to raise the margin requirements for all members from that measly $10,000 to $250,000 for every single member, every single financial firm that trades securities. So there was essentially, I think it was around 3,044 different members of the NSCC. So this is very big, even though the $250,000, I really don't think is that much money for these financial institutions. They are going to be raising these margin requirements. Now, why might that be? I think that the NSCC and these different regulatory institutions are expecting significant margin calls to happen in the future due to defaults, because a lot of these firms are over leveraged. Now, here's where we are going to get into the little bit of expansion. When we come over to this chart right here, we're going to be taking a look at the margin debt. So we can see that the margin debt really spiked right before the dot-com bubble, then came back down. We can see that it slowly went back up all the way up until right before 2008, and then came right back down. Now, we are also seeing it bounce up and down here, but we are seeing the highest margin debt that we have ever seen in recent history. Now, this is, in my opinion, not great. We did see the supplementary leverage ratio actually expire, and we are seeing the DTC come in and do a lot of these liquidity stress tests on all of their netting members. So we're going to have to wait and see what they find and see if all of these different members are able to actually pass this stress test. But with this margin debt out right now, I think that we are really in for some volatility coming up. And as I've said before, that these overall market indicators with margin and coming up with the potential defaults don't directly impact AMC. But if a firm like a hedge fund is over leveraged in a bunch of different securities, and some of these other institutions like a JP Morgan, a Credit Suisse needs to come in and forcefully liquidate positions, if they have a short position on AMC, they have to forcefully close it out, which means they have to buy back the shares of AMC, which could trigger the short squeeze. So that's how I am interpreting how all of this could affect AMC. So that is going to conclude this update on AMC. If you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys are having a very profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.